Nobody sits down and decides to waste money. That's the part nobody says out loud. Every single purchase on this list felt reasonable when it happened. Some of them felt smart. A few of them were actively sold as responsible decisions by people whose income depended on you believing that. That's what makes this list different from the usual one. This isn't about coffee. It's not about avocado toast or the streaming service you forgot to cancel. Those conversations are everywhere, and they mostly miss the point. The real financial damage doesn't come from small indulgences. It comes from things that looked like value, or looked like protection, or looked like a reward, and turned out to be none of those things. Here are 11 of them. Number 1. Brand new cars. A new car loses between 20 and 30% of its value in the first year. Not over its lifetime, the first year. Drive it off the lot and the number has already moved significantly in the wrong direction. By year 5, most vehicles have lost more than 60% of their original value. According to AAA, the average cost of owning a car in 2025 is $11,577 annually. That number includes fuel, insurance, and maintenance, but the single largest component is depreciation. Not the gas, not the oil changes. The fact that the asset is losing value while you're using it. This is the most socially accepted way to destroy wealth that exists. And it persists specifically because a newer car is visible in a way that a growing investment account is not. The car that's already depreciated, the one that's 5 or 6 years old, maintained, paid off, does everything the new one does. It just doesn't announce itself. That's a feature, not a flaw. Number 2. Extended warranties. The extended warranty industry generates approximately $40 billion annually in the United States. That number exists because warranties are extraordinarily profitable, which means, by definition, they pay out far less than they collect. The math works like this. The retailer sells you a warranty for $200 on a $400 appliance. Statistically, the appliance will either last well beyond the warranty period or fail in a way the warranty doesn't cover. The warranty company counts on both. You're essentially making a bet that the retailer has already calculated in their favor before you walked in. Most extended warranties exclude the specific failures that are most likely to occur. The ones they do cover often require documentation, waiting periods, and processes designed to reduce claims. Consumer Reports found that most people who purchase extended warranties never use them, and those who do frequently find the reimbursement lower than expected. Save the premium. Put it in a separate account. You'll come out ahead almost every time. Number 3. Whole life insurance and cash value policies. This one requires a few seconds of attention because it's been sold so effectively for so long that many people believe it's a financial product. It is an insurance product with an investment component attached, and both parts perform worse than their alternatives. Here's the commission structure. On a whole life policy, the selling agent typically earns close to 100% of the first year's premium and roughly 50% of the second year's. On a $500 monthly policy, approximately $6,000 of your first-year payments go directly to the person who sold it to you. The cash value investment component grows at a rate that typically underperforms a basic index fund by several percentage points annually. The fees are embedded rather than disclosed clearly. And if you need to access the money, you're often borrowing against your own policy and paying interest on it. Term life insurance covers what insurance is actually for, replacing income if something happens. It costs a fraction of the price. The difference, invested consistently, almost always outperforms the whole life alternative over any meaningful period. The product exists because the margins are exceptional, not because it's the best outcome for the person buying it. Number 4. Lottery tickets. Americans spent $105 billion on lottery tickets in 2024. That makes it the most popular form of gambling in the country, and one of the most mathematically disadvantageous. The expected value of a lottery ticket is negative by design. The house keeps a percentage of every dollar wagered. The jackpot odds are structured so that the accumulated prize appears life-changing while remaining statistically remote. When jackpots grow large enough to generate significant news coverage, ticket sales surge, which increases the prize but doesn't change the odds. The demographic data is uncomfortable. Lower-income households spend a higher percentage of their income on lottery tickets than higher-income households. The product is disproportionately marketed to people for whom the financial impact is largest. There's nothing wrong with spending a small amount on entertainment that you understand is entertainment. The problem is when lottery tickets function as a financial strategy, a hope that something external will solve what a system could address instead. Number 5. Timeshares. The timeshare industry has produced one of the most durable financial traps in consumer history. The pitch is simple. Pay a one-time fee for guaranteed vacation access at a resort you love. The reality is considerably more complicated. Timeshares are nearly impossible to resell. The secondary market is essentially broken. Units frequently list for $1 on resale sites and still find no buyers. If you want to exit the contract, dedicated exit companies charge thousands of dollars for a process that often takes years. Meanwhile, the annual maintenance fees, which are not optional and escalate over time, continue regardless of whether you use the property. The average maintenance fee exceeds $1,000 per year. Over a decade, a timeshare purchased for $20,000 with $1,200 annual maintenance costs $32,000 total. For vacation access, you could have purchased on the open market for a fraction of that amount with complete flexibility. The timeshare industry spends heavily on sales presentations, specifically because the product requires sustained persuasion to sell. That's useful information. Number 6. Actively managed funds with high fees. In 2024, fewer than 30% of actively managed funds globally outperformed their benchmark index. The professionals, with research teams, proprietary data, and direct access to company management, lost to the index 7 times out of 10. The fee difference between an actively managed fund and a low-cost index fund is typically between 0.5 and 1.5% annually. That sounds small. On $200,000 invested over 30 years, a 1% annual fee difference compounds to approximately $170,000 in foregone returns. Not because of bad investment decisions, simply because of fees. The index doesn't try to beat the market. It is the market. And for most investors over most time periods, that turns out to be the better position. Ray Dalio has said that the most powerful thing an investor can do is diversify across assets they don't have to actively manage. The most common reason people don't do this is that someone earns a living by convincing them otherwise. Number 7. Store credit cards. Store credit cards carry the highest interest rates of any mainstream lending product, typically between 28 and 32% annually. They're offered at checkout with a discount, which creates an immediate reward for a decision with multi-year consequences. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau found that Americans paid over $120 billion annually in credit card interest and fees in recent years. Store cards contribute disproportionately to that figure because the rates are higher and the balances tend to be carried longer. The 15% discount at checkout feels like a win. If you carry a $500 balance for 12 months at 30% interest, you've paid $150 in interest on a $75 discount. The math doesn't hide what's happening. The moment of the decision does. Number 8. Grocery shopping without a plan. American households waste an average of $2,000 per year on food, roughly 214 meals thrown away annually. The FDA estimates that between 30 and 40% of the U.S. food supply is wasted, much of it at the household level. This isn't a small number buried in a spreadsheet. It's the equivalent of a significant monthly investment contribution, spent on food that spoiled before it was used. The mechanism is consistent across households: buying in bulk without a consumption plan, purchasing produce without scheduled meals to use it in, and defaulting to takeout when the groceries in the refrigerator haven't been organized into anything convenient. The fix is structural, not motivational. A weekly meal outline before shopping eliminates most of it. The $2,000 stays, compounds, and eventually matters. Number 9. Expensive weddings financed with debt. The average American wedding now costs between $30,000 and $50,000. For most people getting married, this represents a significant portion of what could be a down payment on a home, a starting investment account, or an emergency fund. The wedding industry is specifically designed to operate during a period of peak emotional decision-making. Vendors charge more when the word wedding is attached to a service than when the same service is requested without it. This markup is documented and consistent. There's also data from economists at Emory University suggesting an inverse relationship between wedding spending and marriage duration. Cheaper weddings correlate with longer marriages. The methodology is debated, but the directional finding is worth considering. The event lasts one day. The debt, if it exists, lasts considerably longer. The marriage is the thing worth investing in, not the venue. Number 10. Paying premium prices for brand name products with generic equivalents. This one applies primarily to pharmaceuticals, household goods, and grocery staples. Generic medications contain the same active ingredients as brand name versions. The FDA requires it. They typically cost 80 to 85% less. The same principle applies across a surprising range of categories: dish soap, cleaning supplies, pantry staples, over-the-counter medications. The packaging is different. The product is frequently identical. The price difference, accumulated over years, is not small. The brand premium exists because branding works. Marketing creates perceived value that survives comparison with nearly identical alternatives. Understanding this doesn't make you immune to it, but it creates a pause before the decision that often changes the outcome. Number 11. Convenience fees that compound invisibly. This is the last one, and it's the quietest. Delivery fees, ATM fees outside your network, rush shipping on items that didn't actually need to arrive tomorrow, booking fees added at checkout, premium pricing for the same product at the airport or the hotel gift shop. Each individual transaction is small enough to feel negligible. Together, they add up to what amounts to a private tax on not paying attention, one that most people pay without ever calculating what it costs annually. The delivery fee on a meal is typically $5 to $8. 3 meals a week is roughly $1,500 to $2,500 per year, before the tip, before the service fee, before the surge pricing. None of these individual decisions feels expensive. None of them are. The sum of them is. The common thread across all 11 is not recklessness. It's something subtler. Each of these things was sold, actively, professionally, with careful attention to the moment of purchase, as a reasonable decision. The extended warranty felt like protection. The whole life policy felt like planning. The new car felt like a reward for progress. What they actually were was someone else's business model. The question worth asking about any significant financial decision is not, can I afford this? In isolation, most people can afford most of these things most of the time. The better question is, who benefits most from this transaction? And is it me? In 11 cases out of 11 on this list, the answer was the same. And once you see that pattern, the decision usually makes itself.